to go across and everything.
Troublemaker. Okay, I'm going to start. I'd like to call this meeting of the Public Works Committee to order for Tuesday, March 27th at 12:30 p.m. First order of business is roll call and determination of quorum. Brenda, please.
Drew,
Here.
Lewis, Drury, Roberts, Nordstrom. We have a quorum.
Thank you. The next order is, or the next item is the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion? Moved by Roberts, second by Drury to adopt the agenda. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? And the motion carries. Now it's time for the general public comment, a time for members of the public to discuss or express concerns to the committee on any issue not limited to items on the agenda. Action will not be taken at the meeting on any issue not on the agenda except by placement on the agenda by unanimous vote of the aldermen present. And we have no requests, so general public comment is now closed. Now on to consent items, and public comment is opened on consent items 1 through 19, and I have no speaker requests. So now public comment is now closed, and we'll move on to the council members present to see if they want to remove any items from the consent. I recognize Dale Tech.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would request item 6 be removed.
All right. Becky Drury.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Could we pull 19 too also?
Yes. And I'm going to pull 6, 8, and 10. Did I get a motion for the remainder?
So moved.
Second.
Nordstrom moves and Drury seconds for the remainder of the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries and the agenda is adopted as amended. Item number 5, 2018 lane line printing project number 182439-CP number 50594, estimated cost $110,000. I pulled this item and I'd like to ask Dale Tech a couple of questions. Dale, we hear a lot of complaints about line painting and our streets, so I'd just like you to reiterate that we do this on our schedule and, at a yearly time, so when it's appropriate.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, our annual lane line painting is very important to our community. Things that have to be considered, though, is we can only do it in good weather. So when winter is over, the pavement temperatures are high enough, we get out, get all of our roads marked. And then in the fall, a lot of our high traffic areas, we remark them again just before winter time. So unfortunately, our winters, this one in particular, is quite tough on pavement markings. So we take this very serious and are looking forward to spring days when we can get the work performed.
Can you tell me the difference of when you choose to use white paint or yellow paint?
Pavement markings fall under the requirements of the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices. So that's why stop signs are red. Pavement markings have the same type of specifications and requirements that are federally adopted. So that's why we use the colors that we use.
Okay, so a yellow line would be used when?
Well, typically a yellow line is a center line marking, or I'm sorry, an edge line marking, and it designates that you should not cross it if it's solid. Typically a broken yellow line is a line that you would see on a 2-lane highway where if it's a broken line you can cross it. So, and then the white lines are typically used for edge lines and for some center lines on arterial roads with the same thing. If it's typically a solid line, you're not supposed to cross it, and if it's a broken line, you can.
Okay, because I had people make remarks on why you use different color paints, and that clears it up. So thank you very much. Seeing no other people in the queue. Nordstrom moves to approve, second by Drury. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, and the item number 5 passes. We go on to item number 6, bus passenger bench and bus passenger bench advertising. Chair recognizes Becky Drury.
Thank you, Chair. May I ask Rich Sagan a question, please?
Of course, he is here.
Hi.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm subbing in, so some of this is unfamiliar
Okay.
to me. On the $36,000 projected revenue, that's net?
Yes, we're hoping that is a minimum net that we'll receive on this project.
Okay, because it said you're having an advertising agency also, and I just wanted to make sure the advertising agency wasn't also coming out of the 36.
Well, I should probably explain this project in a little bit more detail, then it will probably make more sense. Essentially, what we're trying to do is get out of the bus bench business. Right now, we have benches that we pay the cost of those, we pay the updating of them. If one gets damaged, if it gets destroyed by a car, all the weed control, the garbage around the benches, the insurance, the city currently is responsible for that. What our intent is to do here is to basically get a turnkey project. We'll get a private vendor will come in, and these are all, and they're done all over the country, and they will come in, provide the benches. They will sell advertising on the benches, and we'll get proceeds, we'll get a cut of those proceeds back to the city. So they'll be responsible for the benches themselves, all the upkeep, the insurance, the maintenance around the benches, the replacement. If there's graffiti on the benches, they'll go in and have to take that off. And then we're looking at a 3-year contract. And I'm thinking 36,000 is probably a minimal that we could receive on this. And so that's kind of what the intention of this is.
Great, that explains it so much better. I appreciate the explanation.
Sure.
I yield.
Oh, Dale Tech has buzzed in. Dale.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to point out that the actual agenda title is not correct. Somehow it got, if you go to the attachment, the agenda summary, it's correct on there, but for some reason it didn't quite make it to our agenda title. So what I'm asking the council or the committee to do is to authorize staff to advertise for bids bus passenger bench and bus passenger bench advertising. If that could be the motion, that would be consistent with what the item actually is.
Okay, and excuse me, guys. And this will be changed for Monday night? It'll have the correct title?
Correct, we'll update that for the council agenda.
Sorry, Councilman Nordstrom, go ahead.
I'll just read as it says here. My motion is to authorize staff to advertise for bids for bus passenger bench and bus passenger bench advertising.
Okay. Motion by Nordstrom, second by Drury. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion, the item passes. Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Sure.
Just wanted to let you know, too, that earlier this year, we passed or I guess it was late last year, we're providing bench pads throughout the city. That'll bring everything into ADA compliance, so that once this project is awarded, those benches then will go on these approved ADA pads throughout the town. So we won't have any benches that are, on bare ground or maybe are in an undulating situation, and so it'll really clean things up as well and make everything ADA accessible.
That's good information to have. Thank you,
Okay,
Mr. Sagan.
thank you.
We go on to item 8, agreement between the City of Rapid City and the South Dakota Department of Transportation for improvements to East Boulevard at Grade Railroad Crossing. I pulled this item because railroads seem to be much on the minds of our citizens. So Dale, if you could tell me a little bit about this. And just to reiterate that you have to work with the South Dakota Department of Transportation on all these items.
That's correct, Madam Chair, thank you. The City of Rapid City, we don't work directly with the railroad, so any improvements within right-of-ways, when they're crossing either a city street or a state highway, the South Dakota Department of Transportation, they manage that. They're the ones that work directly with the railroad, and then the local jurisdiction participates in that cost. Obviously, the crossing itself, where the rails are and the track pad are the railroad's responsibility, but anything leading up to that, the pavement, curb gutter, all that, that's the city's responsibility, or whomever the local jurisdiction is. So we know we have a number of poor crossings on the agenda today. There's 2 of them. So La Crosse Street, which actually I might be getting a little ahead of the game here, but that was supposed to be done last year. The railroad decided that they should probably do more because it's in such poor shape. So we're amending the agreement to do a little more work up there to hopefully make it a more permanent fix for that crossing. This particular item is for East Boulevard. I believe in May of this year, we're going to be letting a project to reconstruct the balance of East Boulevard and East North Street. We anticipate that this railroad crossing then will get upgraded or fixed during that project. So while we have that stretch of East Boulevard torn up for construction, it'd be an ideal time to fix the railroad crossing with it.
Thank you so much. Chair recognizes Richie Nordstrom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A question for Dale Tech, please.
Yep.
Dale, have you got East St. Patrick on the future list?
No, is the short answer. Once again, it's not the city. We can't call up the railroad and say, you've got a rough crossing.
Right.
We're going to be doing some work in that area, I believe, this summer with some pavement at that intersection. We'll do the best we can to make it as smooth as we can leading up to the tracks, but as far as the tracks themselves, that's the railroad's responsibility.
Thank you for the explanation. Thank you, Dale. I'll yield.
I don't think I have a motion yet. Motion by Drury and a second by Nordstrom. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and the motion carries. I am going to remove item 10 as I feel that Dale has already addressed that when he was talking about item 8. We have to vote on it? Okay, all right. I'll need a motion. Motion by Roberts, second by Nordstrom. All in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign, and the motion is carried. Brings us to item number 19. Approve Resolution 2018 through 029, a resolution to declare property located on Mondo Street surplus and appoint freeholders to appraise the property for sale. And the chair recognizes Becky Drury.
Thank you, Chair. May I ask a question to our city attorney, Wade Nybert? Could you go over this a little bit? Wade, I'm sorry, this is, Public Works is new to me, so if I'm being pesky, I guess I'm just being pesky.
No, this is what you do.
Sure. This piece of property was acquired along with the East Rapid City water expansion. There are several different projects within that. This particular one, it's the Prairie Fire subdivision. Terracotta Estates Homeowners Association had a water system, and they had water quality issues. The DENR came to the city to provide some clean drinking water out in that East Rapid City area. So this is one of the subparts of that project. Their well was located on this piece of property, and it actually, the city acquired this basically not really on an emergency basis, but almost. We paid the back taxes to redeem the property. It was going to be, a tax deed was going to be taken on it. And so in order to preserve the water they had until we could get city water to them, we acquired this property with the well to keep their system operating as it was at the time. So now that the city water's been extended out there and the well was abandoned, we can go ahead and get rid of this property. I guess we don't need it anymore.
Okay, so we're really not, did we buy this in 2017 or 2016? Do you remember?
I believe we paid the taxes. We brought the taxes current, it was $40-some thousand. I don't know the exact number, in 2016. And I think maybe they might have deeded it to us in 2017.
Okay. So when we dispose of the property, this was more of a way to upgrade the water system and to ensure that we had good water quality in that area than anything else. So just disposing of the property will just take it off our hands.
Right, and like I said, we acquired this piece of property because the well was on it, and we needed to, basically it was to help them keep their current water supply while we got water to them. So it wasn't really something we'd envisioned when we started the project, but it was because of the tax deed situation, it was necessary to get the property so they didn't have some other problems in the meantime.
Okay. But the well is no longer there. It's been disposed of. I don't know how you dispose of a well, but
The engineers could tell you more about that than me, but there's an abandonment for it, so.
so the well's been abandoned or
Yeah.
taken care of, so it's no longer an issue in
Correct,
the
yeah,
area?
as Mr. Nyberg stated, the water quality coming out of that well did not meet state standards for drinking water. So that well has been abandoned, which means it has been filled with grout, so it's no longer a functioning well anymore. And I believe it's been cut off at the ground surface, so there's nothing there. And then there was a building there as well, and that has been removed. So it should just be a vacant lot that's out there today.
Okay. I yield. Thank you, both.
Good discussion. Thank you. I need a motion.
Second.
Move to approve by Nordstrom, second by Drury. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And the motion carries.
Second.
Yeah, I'd just like to add something before we go. This is our chance to really talk about issues and items and really dig into it as a group, away from the council. So please always feel free to discuss what you need to when you're in either Legal and Finance or the Public Works Committee, because this is where the work gets done. And happy Easter to all this weekend. Have a safe and happy holiday. Thank you. We're adjourned.
Thank you.